Good morning to everyone. In this video, we are going to discuss about digital to digital transmission. So we are currently in physical layer, right? We are currently in physical layer, right? So here the data is what we are going to transmit from what that is getting generated at application layer, and it is transmitted over all the 7 layers in OSI model, and finally it reaches the physical layer. And we are enjoying all the latest technologies through the internet, and we are wondering how this. We always have a thought of how this data is getting transmitted over one place to another place, right? And this is what the concept of how this data getting transmitted from one place to another place, right? So through physical layer, right? So in this physical layer, right? So data that is getting transmitted, right? So the data that is getting, for example, if you take the physical layer, physical data link, network layer, transport layer, uh, so session layer, presentation layer, and application layer, right? We have 7 different layers, and data that is getting generated at application layer transmitted over all these layers, and each layer is doing some responsibilities, and data is reaching the final layer called physical layer, right? And here the data is going to be converted into ones and zeros, right? So data that is generated at application layer has to cross all these layers with and which is performed with lot of responsibilities, and finally it reaches the physical layer, and it is getting converted into ones and zeros, which is of digital data, right? And this digital data is going to be, sorry, once again, and this digital data is going to be converted into digital signals, right? So digital signals, and there are 3 major forms available. There are 3 possible conversions available. So digital data is converted into 3 possible conversions. One is nothing but the electrical signals. Another one is optical signal. Another one is radio waves. So purely this 3 possible cases, right? Conversion of your digital data into electrical signal, conversion of your digital data into optical signal, and radio waves. This purely decides where it is going to travel, right? Through which it is going to travel. If it is converted into electrical signal, this is going to travel over twisted pair cable, or else coaxial cable, right? So in these 2 categories, data is going to be converted. This data what we are generating at physical application layer, and it has crossed all the possible layers, and finally it reaches physical layer, and it is converted into ones and zeros, and this ones and zeros will be converted to an electrical signal if the physical medium what the data is going to travel is going to be a twisted pair cable or else coaxial cable, right? And if the digital data is converted to an optical signal, then this means that it is going to travel over fiber optics cable, right? Purely depends on the travel medium, right? And the last one is radio waves, and if the digital data is converted into a radio wave, then it is going to travel over wireless medium, right? These are all the 3 possible cases, conversions possible, right? So digital into digital data, right? Here digital data is converted into digital signal, and this digital signal may be of different possible cases, right? Purely depends on where it is going to, through which it is going to travel, right? So that is what the possible cases, right? So let's see how this conversion takes place. What are the schemes that is available under this category, right? This is digital into digital conversion, right? Digital data into digital signal conversion. Before that, we need to have a understanding of because here the electronic devices are incorporated in this, right? In this process, right? For example, there is a system available, and there is a receiver. This is a sender, and this is a receiver. Here let's take 1010 data is going to be encoded, right, and converted into a digital signal, and this digital signal, since it is of 1010, let's take 1 will be given with positive voltage, 0 will be given with negative voltage. We are varying the voltages, right, through wires, right, because the travel medium is going to be a metallic cable, right? Travel medium is going to be a metallic cable, and the data is given with fluctuation of voltages, right? So let's take 1010. So we'll give higher voltage for 1 and lower voltage for 0, and then another higher voltage and then another lower voltage, right? So this is 1010, right? So this 4 values are transmitted over this 4 voltages are transmitted over the physical medium, which is nothing but the coaxial cable or else twisted pair cable, and here it is going to be decoded, right? Here it is going to be decoded through another electronic device, right? And it is decoded by changing, by observing the voltage variations. They are predicting the values as 1010, right? So this is what the regular process of transmission is, right? So we are encoding the values into a digital signal by varying the voltages, and the data, the signal, the voltage variations based on the observations done at receiver side, they are predicting the values as 1010 based on the fluctuations of your current, right? So this is how the data is getting transmitted over physical medium, right, which is nothing but cables or else wireless medium, whatever it is, right? So purely this voltage variations decides the value, right, and it is decoded at receiver side, right? So since some electronic devices are involved in this process for encoding and decoding purposes, we need to have a regular understanding of some problems related to electronic devices. One is baseline wandering. Another one is DC component problem. Third one is self-synchronization. Three major terminologies. When we go for line coding mechanisms, these three terminologies we should be taken care, right? We should, before choosing a line coding scheme, because these three are problems related to electronic devices, right? What is called baseline wandering? So baseline wandering is nothing but, so we receive the signal power, right? We receive the voltage variations, and what receiver does is, here this transformer will absorb the received signal power. It calculates the average received signal power, right? So you can have observation on here. So a receiver will evaluate the average power of received signal, right? So average power of received signal, and it calculates this as a baseline, right? Based on this as an input, so it will evaluate the upcoming data, right? Upcoming voltage variations, and based on that it will absorb the data. It will predict the data, right? So this, by considering this as your average power, okay, this is what the in this way the data is going to be received, right? So by considering this as the input for your data, based on this the data will be evaluated and data will be interrupted, right? So the data will be interrupted. Based on that the data will be absorbed at the receiver side, right? So purely this will act as a base, right? That is why it is a baseline. Average power of the received signal. Initially, when the data started arriving at the receiver side, it will calculate this average power, and this will be acting as a baseline to receive for the upcoming bits, right? So this what happens is, if there is a frequent consecutive fluctuations in your current, positive, negative, that is no issue at all. But there are cases, there is no restriction that data has to be in the form of 101010, right? There are cases where consecutive ones are possible, and there are cases where consecutive zeros also possible in case of data generation, right? So in such cases, right, for example, 1 will be given with positive voltage and 0 will be given with negative voltage, right? So in such cases, this causes consecutive positive voltage has to be given, and this causes consecutive negative voltage has to be given. What happens is, this makes a drift in the baseline, right? This makes the drift in the baseline, right? This will act as a baseline for the upcoming bits. Based on that, this will the receiver will interpret the data, right? So this consecutive positive voltage and consecutive negative voltage will change, will make a drift in the baseline, which makes the decoder to decode the data in a misinterpreted data, right? So it may be there is a problem, right? So it finds difficult to decode the data because of change in baseline banding, right? So this drift occurs because of this consecutive plus and consecutive minus voltages will make a drift in the baseline, and that causes leads to misinterpret the data may be possible at receiver side, right? So this is called the baseline wandering, right? Because of this, both the baseline wandering and DC component are the problems that occurs because of the same issues, right? So this consecutive ones and consecutive zeros. So DC component is almost similar to this baseline wandering. DC component problem is if I get the values of consecutive ones and consecutive zeros, which means we need to give consecutive positive voltages and consecutive negative voltages, which leads to generation of low frequency signals, right? And this generation of low frequency signals will lead to decode, will lead to what it leads to means it finds difficult to decode the signal, because even a telephone line doesn't accept a low frequency of 200 Hz, right? So low frequency signals are very difficult to process, right? So which leads to misinterpreted data also possible, right? So this DC component problem also needs to be addressed when choosing a proper line coding scheme, right? So this consecutive ones and consecutive zeros will occur will cause this baseline wandering and also DC component problem, right? So this baseline wandering is it's an electronic problem, device related problem. So even if you take your ECG, right? So if you take the ECG, always the data, always your ECG will be like this, right? So there will be a positive, negative fluctuations, right? At some point of time, you find that your graph will be somewhere between in the neutral, or else somewhere between like this, right? This is the problem related to the ECG electronic device. So because of consecutive ones and consecutive zeros. So this has to be addressed when choosing a proper line coding scheme, right? Because at the receiver side, because we don't want, for example, data what we have sent is like this, and it should not be misinterpreted as 111001, right? So data what we have sent needs to be properly received at receiver side. If this problem occurs, then it may be misinterpreted as some other data, right? This will not happen, right? This should not happen. So the schemes what you are going to choose should address these issues, baseline wandering and DC component. And the last one is self-synchronization problem. This self-synchronization problem is it is nothing but the clock synchronization of sender and receiver, right? For example, I'll show this. This is nothing but the self-synchronization problem. Here in this case, the clock, for example, this is nothing but the sender clock, and this is nothing but the receiver clock, right? So a clock is nothing but one time signal, right? Clock is nothing but one time signal. This is the second, this is the third, right? If it is properly synchronized, one will be because I am giving a voltage level, right? So positive voltage, I am giving a negative voltage, and I am giving another positive voltage. What does it mean is the value I am going to transmit is 101, right? So this is sender and this is receiver. So if the clock are properly if the clock is properly synchronized, then this positive voltage will be understood as positive voltage, right? And this negative voltage will be understood as 0, right? This positive voltage will be understood as at the receiver side, when it decodes, this positive voltage will be considered as 1 and the negative voltage will be considered as 0, and the final decoded data is going to be 101. There is no issue at all. But the same, if the clock is not properly synchronized, right? So let's show that example. Yes. So if the clock is not properly synchronized, look at this. If the time clock signal is not properly synchronized, right? Let's here I am giving one positive voltage. The clock is not properly synchronized. Here look at the data. Here the signal here this is one time signal, whereas in this receiver side that signal is going to be, that is a two side time signal, right? In this case I am giving a one positive voltage, but it is misinterpreted as two positive voltage, which means double one, right? So and here I am giving 1 0, which is nothing but one negative voltage, whereas here at receiver side it is misinterpreted as two zeros, and here also one positive voltage is just misinterpreted as double one. So the data what the sender has sent is 101, but at the receiver side it is misinterpreted as double one, double zero, double one. So this is the problem of cell synchronization, right? So we want to synchronize the time clock of sender and receiver so that data misinterruption will not happen at receiver side, right? So all these three problems we need to address while choosing a line coding scheme, right? So let's enter into the concept of line coding mechanism. So actually this conversion of conversion of digital data into digital signal will be done through line coding and block coding, and we'll discuss line coding concepts here. Line coding schemes. So under line coding schemes, we have plenty number of concepts available, right? First one is unipolar, next one is polar, bipolar, multi-level, multi-transition, right? So first one is unipolar. Unipolar NRZ, non-return to zero. What is NRZ is nothing but non-return to zero, right? What does it mean is, here in case of NRZ, we have only one voltage level, which is positive alone, right? We have only one voltage level, which is positive. So, zero will be given with neutral. Neutral is not a voltage, so one will be the positive voltage level, right? So, for example, if my data is going to be if my data is going to be 10110, right? So in such case, as I said, here in case of your NRZ, so 1 will be given with positive voltage and 0 will be neutral. Please remember this. So 1 will be given with positive voltage. Here it is only two voltages. So we don't need to consider for the negative case. So only one possible case exists. So one has to be given with higher voltage, then neutral voltage, then higher voltage has to be maintained, and then neutral voltage. So this is what the graph pattern of this unipolar NRZ, right? So it has only two voltages, positive voltage and neutral voltage, right? So 0 will be given with neutral voltage, whereas 1 will be given with positive voltage, right? So this is what the pattern of your NRZ form, right? So let's see a good example for this. Yes, this is NRZ. Look at so the same example. Unfortunately, both the data are same, right? We'll discuss a detailed example in the upcoming session. Upcoming slides. Next one is polar NRZ, right? This is unipolar, right? Here in case of your polar, this polar NRZ. A comparison of all the schemes will be within just few minutes, right? Because we can able to easily compare, right? So while comparing, we can able to address whether this scheme will be disturbed by baseline monitoring and DC component or not, right? So polar NRZ. So in case of your polar NRZ, two levels of voltages are used. So both positive and negative, right? Positive voltage and negative voltage, right? So in such case, polar NRZ, we have two major mechanisms, NRZL and NRZI. right? So under polar NRZ, we have two mechanisms, NRZ-L and NRZ-I, right? So NRZ-L is nothing but, so we'll have a good example here. Yes. Okay. So in this case, this is what polar NRZ-L, right? So data what I have taken is 10110101, right? This is the what data I am going to transmit, and in this case, look at, there are three voltages, positive, 0, and then 1, right? Because the drawing in case of your time signal is, because it should be properly drawn, right? Otherwise, if the time signal is not properly drawn, we cannot able to draw the graph. So I'll explain and I'll take a simple example to work out, right? So NRZ-L. So in this case, here look at the positive. The first data is going to be 1, right? So in this case, data 1 will be given with negative voltage and 0 will be given. In case of NRZ-L, so 1 will be given with negative voltage and 0 will be given with positive voltage, right? Let's take, we'll say, take some example, right? Let's assume this is a time clock signal. I'll use blue for drawing my graph. Let's take some other example, 11001, right? So that is one example. This is another example, so that you can able to understand, right? So this NRZ-L, right? NRZ-L. So 1 will be given with negative voltage and 0 will be given with positive voltage. So 1 has to be given with negative voltage and negative voltage has to be maintained. 0 has to be given with positive voltage. So this is the graph that needs to be drawn, right? So very simple mechanism. 1 will be given with negative voltage and 0 will be given with positive voltage. Let's check for how this mechanism works for baseline monitoring and DC component inputs, right? So the previous mechanism needs to be analyzed, right? So first mechanism is your unipolar NRZ, right? So the previous mechanism, unipolar NRZ. So in such case, before that we'll explain NRZ invert also. So this NRZ invert is also similar mechanism. It works with the 3 positive voltages, right? 3 voltages, one is positive, 0 and negative. So in this case, what needs to be done is, so here the inversion needs to be done if the upcoming bit is 1, right? Inversion needs to be done if the upcoming bit is purely depends on the upcoming bit, right? So always the thing is, we always want to start from positive, right? It's an assumed one, right? Assumed one, whatever the mechanism it is. If it depends on the future bit or else anything it may be, we always start with positive, right? So let's assume we'll start with positive. We'll check for the future upcoming bit. 1 is going to be the future upcoming bit. So what is the rule for NRZ invert? NRZ, this is the mechanism. So this NRZ invert, so we will make a invert only if the upcoming bit is going to be 1. Right, we'll make an invert if the upcoming bit is going to be 1, right? So here let's make this upcoming bit is 1, so we'll make an inversion, right? We'll make an inversion. So invert and then we'll start transmitting. So next bit is 1, so again we will make an invert. We'll make a transmission and we'll maintain voltage levels. We will maintain the same voltage if the data is going to be 0. Right, so next bit is 0, next bit is 0, so we will maintain the same voltage. Since the next bit is going to be 1, we will make an invert and we will transmit the data. So similar similar process is done here. So 1, so since it's a 1, so the upcoming bit, initially the upcoming bit is 1, so we will make an invert and we will continue the transmission until you find the next one, right? So the second data is going to be 0, that's why we will maintain the voltage. And the third data is going to be 1, so we'll invert the process and we'll transmit. And then next data is going to be 1, we'll invert and we'll continue the transmission. And next data is going to be 0, that's why we maintain the same level of voltage. And when it finds then another 1, we'll make an inversion, right? So that is mechanism of NRZ invert, right? And before we go for the next mechanism, we need to analyze about the three schemes so far discussed with baseline monitoring and DC component inputs, right? So let's check for it. Okay. So now check for the first three mechanisms. This is polar, there is unipolar NRZ, this is unipolar level, NRZ level, and this is NRZ invert, right? In all these three cases, right, check for the possible inputs of consecutive ones and consecutive zeros, right? In the first scheme, unipolar NRZ will be given with positive voltage if the data is going to be 1, and it will be given with neutral voltage if the data is going to be 0. So in such case, if consecutive 1 comes, we'll always have the positive voltage, right? So look at the last one. So we'll always have the positive voltage. In such case, there is a possibility for both DC component and also baseline monitoring. Whereas in case of your consecutive zeros also, will maintain neutral voltage, which causes both baseline monitoring and also DC component problem. So this is not a fair mechanism. We'll move on to the next one, which is NRZL. So in case of NRZL, which is non-return to 0 L level, so what is the scheme we do? So here 1 will be given with negative voltage, and 0 will be given with positive voltage. In such case, if I have consecutive ones as an input, we always maintain the negative voltage. Whereas if I have consecutive zeros as an input, we always maintain positive voltage. In both the cases, in both the type of inputs, both baseline monitoring and also DC component will occur, right? Because which leads to creation of low frequencies and also drift in baseline, right? So this NRZ level also is not a fair mechanism. We'll go for NRZ invert. In case of the NRZ invert, so purely depends on the upcoming bit, right? So if the upcoming bit is going to be 1, we'll make an inversion. Otherwise, we maintain the same voltage. So that is the concept of NRZ invert. So we'll give consecutive ones. So if I face consecutive ones, each for every one I'm going to make an invert, right? So there will be a fluctuations in the current always, right? Because positive, negative, positive, negative. So look at this graph. So first data is going to be 1. I'm making an inversion and I'm making a transition. Next data is also 1. We'll make an invert and we'll make a transmission. Next data is also 1. So we'll have a consecutive fluctuations in your current. So we can avoid this baseline monitoring and also DC component. Whereas in case of consecutive zeros, so we maintain the same voltage, right? So the assumed status positive, that's why we maintain consecutive positive voltage, which leads to baseline monitoring and also DC component problem. So this consecutive zeros will cause baseline monitoring and also DC component problem. Okay, let's move on to the next mechanism, which is polar RZ. Return to 0, right? Polar RZ, right? So in this case, right, polar RZ, so here the data is going to be processed like, so graph format will be of different, right? So if it is of 0, so the data, let's take this is 1 clock signal, right? This is 1 clock signal. In previous cases, data transmission will be like this, right? Because this data transmission, there will not be any change in change in the voltage levels during the transmission, right? Because we always give positive voltage, right? Whereas in case of polar RZ mechanism, right? So this until the first half of the transmission, it maintains the same voltage, and during the transmission it comes to 0 and it maintains this. It moves to the next voltage, right? Look at this. This is what the graph pattern of 0 in case of polar RZ, right? Whereas in case of in case of your, yes, this is what the graph pattern of 0 in case of polar Z, whereas in case of your 1, so the graph pattern will be like this, right? Graph pattern will be like this, right? So let's discuss this for example so that you can have a better understanding of how this polar RZ works, right? So in this case, look at polar RZ. So the data first is going to be 1. So this data, okay, data is not visible. Okay, right. So this the first data is going to be 1. So since it is 1, the data format of the first one is like this, right? During the transmission, there is a fluctuation in the voltage, right? So the receiver will understand that if there is a fluctuation in the current during the transmission, it is considered as 1 bit, right? So that is what so far in the previous mechanisms will maintain the same voltage during the transmission, whereas here during the first half it maintains the same voltage. Between the second half, it makes a fluctuation to the neutral and it goes to the negative, right? So that is what the mechanism, right? So 0 will be like this, right? Right, this is the pattern of 0, and this negative will be like this, right? So this is what a graph pattern of polar RZ, right? So look at this example 1. So 1, look at here from it start from positive, and during the transmission it reaches neutral and it maintains the neutral, and it reaches the negative because of the next voltage is going to be 0, right? So the graph pattern is like this, right? You can have a better understanding if you have like this, right? So for example, if my 0, because you can easily understand the start and end of a bit. So far in the previous mechanisms, so data because start and end of a data cannot be predicted, right? Whereas here, for example, if you take example. For example, my data is going to be 0, 1, 0, right? So if it is of 0 in case of your polar Z, right? So polar Z 0 is going to be like this, right? And 1 is going to be like this, 0 is going to be like this, right? And once I have done, you can join these lines so that becomes the complete graph. So what you can make a good observation in this. This neutral will convey that is going to be the end of one complete transition, whereas in case of previous mechanisms it is difficult to identify the start and end of a bit, end of a transmission, right? Whereas in this case, because all the data transmitted will be ending with neutral voltage, right? Even it is of 0, even it is of 1, right? It is ending with a neutral voltage, right? Look at it is ending with a neutral voltage, right? So you can have a better understanding if I draw one more example. For example, this is one signal element. Okay, 1 0 1 0. So if I have 1, the pattern of your graph is like this. I use blue. Okay. And next one is 0. Okay, next one is 1. Next one is 0. So what needs to be done is all these rest of the lines needs to be joined so that you will get the complete graph, right? So in this way it has to be converted, right? So here this you can make a good observation. All these end of a transmission will be ended with neutral voltage, right? So that easily receiver can able to, because in the previous transmissions, previous schemes discussed, NRZ I, NRZ invert, polar NRZ, all these mechanisms, it is difficult for the receiver to understand the start and end of a bit, right? So this mechanism avoids that, right? So if you find a neutral voltage, that is nothing but the end of a transmission, right? So when it goes up or else down depends on that means that it is the start of a bit, right? So that is the understanding at receiver side. So this is what polar RZ is, right? And let's check for how this polar RZ faces this baseline wandering and DC component inputs. So look at this as the polar RZ. So in this case, is it? No, this is the one, right? So in this case, as I said, if I have consecutive ones and consecutive zeros, what will be the case, right? So for example, okay, let's take this is the time signal 1 1 1 1 1. So if I have consecutive ones, right? So one will be given with graph like this, right? And if I join all those rest of the lines, yes, there is no possibility for the signal no possibility for baseline wandering and DC component problem, because there is a fluctuation in voltage always occurs, right? Whereas in case of your zeros, consecutive zeros, right? What happens in case of consecutive zeros? So if I have consecutive zeros, graph will have fluctuations in current, right? Fluctuations in the current, yes. So we'll join this so that we'll get the final graph, and of course here also we have consecutive fluctuations between the positive and neutral voltage. So it avoids baseline and baseline wandering and DC component problem, but it has also problems, right? So the problem in case of your RZ is the self synchronization problem, right? So it cannot able to avoid the self synchronization problem, right? Synchronization of your bits, right, during transmissions is not possible in case of your polar RZ scheme, right? So that is a major drawback in case of polar RZ, right? Okay. So next one is under this polar we have biphase, right? Biphase scheme. Under biphase we have Manchester and differential Manchester. Right? So in your book they have given a they have given this Manchester and differential Manchester with a good example, right? We'll go for another example here. In case of your Manchester, right? In case of your Manchester scheme, right? So the graph pattern is very simple, right? The graph pattern, this is biphase, polar biphase mechanism, right? So the graph pattern is very simple. If it is of 0, the data transmission is going to be like this, and if it is of 1, the data transmission is going to be like this, right? The data is transmitting between the transmission, right? During the transmission, the fluctuation of your current dictates the data to the receiver, right? So let's take a good example. So look at let's take 1011, right? So as I said, 0 is going to be starts from positive to 0, positive to negative. So here this is one transmission, right? And the next one is 0, so we'll continue the same. And next one is 1, we'll continue the same. Again you want to come down and then go back, right? This is what the transmission is going to be, right? So here what you want to note down is we'll start from, because graph pattern of 1 is going to be starts from negative to positive, and graph pattern of 0 is going to start from positive to negative. So since it is of 1, started from negative to positive, 0, positive to negative, 1, negative to positive. Here the next data is going to be 1, but currently right now I am in positive voltage. You want to take a shift from positive to negative, and then you want to continue with the same pattern of your graph, right? So that is what the mechanism, that is polar biphase Manchester scheme, right? This is polar biphase Manchester scheme, and we'll discuss the same example here also. Look at this initial data is going to be 1, So that's why the graph pattern starts from negative to positive. Next one is 0, positive to negative. Next one is 1. So not 1, I think it is here. So next one is 1. So that's why it is positive to negative, negative to positive. Next one, since it is 1, right now I am in positive. So I need to take back my signal to negative voltage and I want to make a shift, right? So please make a note of this point. So since look at 0, so now positive to negative, and next one is 1, negative to positive, same pattern of your graph. Since the next data is also 1, I need to take my data to take my voltage to the next negative voltage. Since right now I am in positive voltage, I need to take it to negative and then I want to go to positive, right? So data will be like this. This shift we should not skip, right? Okay. Next one is 0, positive to negative, and the next one is 1, positive to negative to positive. Next one is 0, positive to negative. Next one is 1, negative to positive, right? So this is what Manchester scheme is, right? Please remember this invert, right? So this concept needs to be remembered, right? Right? If you are in positive and the next data what you are facing is 1, you need to take your voltage to the negative level and then you need to make a transition, right? So that is what polar Manchester scheme is. How the let's take how this polar Manchester scheme works for the baseline matrix and DC component problem, right? So this is what the mechanism is. So if I have consecutive ones and consecutive zeros, right? So Manchester scheme. So 0 will be like this, 1 will be like this. I am facing 4 consecutive ones. Take a shift, take a shift, take a shift. So there will be a fluctuation in your current always when I face consecutive ones. And similarly, when I face consecutive zeros, so positive voltage, take to positive. This mechanism avoids baseline wandering and DC component problem, right? This mechanism avoids baseline wandering and DC component problem because always there is a fluctuation in your current, right? So because during the transmission, during the the transmission is performing during the half of the signal level, right? So initially it maintains the same voltage. During the half of the signal level, it makes a fluctuation during the current. So this majorly avoids DC component and baseline matrix problem, right? So this is very useful mechanism, and currently Manchester mechanisms are majorly used in case of your DSL lines and all, right? So this currently differential Manchester and Manchester schemes are used for used in internet, right? Okay, next one is differential Manchester. In case of your differential Manchester, right? So look at the major change here is the inversion only, right? In case of your differential Manchester, if you find a 0, you need to invert. Otherwise, we'll continue with the same pattern of your graph, only like this, right? Let's take a good example. Zero, 1, 1, 0, 1, right? So always it's assumed to start as positive, right? So since the first data is going to be 1, I need to make an invert, right? So I'll invert, continue my graph. Until you find the next 0, the graph format is going to be same, right? This, right? We'll continue with the same procedure, right? And if you find an invert, if you find a 0, you need to invert and you need to continue. Sorry, here there is no inversion is needed because the data is going to be 1. I need to convert this, right? It is going to be like this, right? This is what differential Manchester scheme. Let's discuss this example. So the first data is going to be 1. So since 1, I need to it assumed to start as positive signal, positive voltage. So I can maintain the positive voltage, and the next data is going to be 0, so I need to make an invert, right? So here this positive voltage is maintained, sorry, this graph is like this, and since 1 is the next voltage is next input is 0, I need to make an invert and continue with the form, right? And next data conversion, here the upcoming bit is going to be 0, so I need to make a shift from negative voltage to positive voltage, and then I am making a transmission, right? So when you find a 0 as an upcoming bit, you need to make an invert from right where you are right now, right? So that is what the concept you need to do here. So let's take one more example and we'll discuss. Zero one 1. So in that case, initially it is 0. So assume the start as positive. We'll make an invert, and during the transmission, during the half of the time signal element, so transmission is happening. Next one is 1. We'll continue with the same flow, right? Here there is no specific pattern like this and this, right? So data will flow as it is, right? Will flow as it is, right? And since it is of next to 0, right now I am in negative voltage, I need to make a shift, make a data transmission. And next one is 1. So this is going to be the graph for differential Manchester, right? So this is what the concept of differential Manchester. This Manchester and differential Manchester are widely used mechanisms, which makes a combination of this RZ and then NRZ. So actually Manchester mechanism is the combination of RZ mechanism along with NRZ level, whereas differential Manchester is the combination of RZ along with NRZ inverter, right? It's a combination of these two mechanisms, right? Fine. So in case of your differential Manchester, you want to invert only if you face 0 bit, right? Let's see how those differential Manchester mechanism works for consecutive zeros and consecutive ones. So if there is a consecutive 1, right? Let's discuss with the example. So let's take this is my signal element, and if I face consecutive zeros, let's take for consecutive zeros first, right? So if I face consecutive zeros, what needs to be done? We need to invert, right? So initial assume to start as positive. So invert, next invert, make an invert, transmission, make an invert, transmission. So data is going to be like this, right? And if I have consecutive ones, 1 1 1 1. So 1 will have the no inversion, data is going to be like this. So form of graph is going to be, there is no flow specific form here, there is no specific pattern of your graph for 0 and 1. So the flow will be like this, right? So it will flow as it is, no inversion is needed because no zeros are involved, right? So when you face 0, so there is no baseline altering and DC component problem in this case of differential Manchester. This Manchester and differential Manchester are widely used mechanisms in case of line coding mechanism, right? Right. So next one, is under bipolar. Under bipolar, we have AMI and pseudo ternary. AMI and pseudo ternary, right? So both are very similar mechanisms, right? So in case of your AMI, right, very simple mechanism. Here it takes 3 voltages, 0, minus. So in this case, 0 will be given with 0 will be given with neutral voltage, and alternatives 1 will be given with positive and negative voltage, right? 0 will be, look at this. So in this case of your AMI, 0 will be given with neutral voltage and alternate ones will be given with positive and negative voltage, right? Let's take in this case 0 1 1 0 1, right? In this case, So 0 will be given with negative voltage, 0 will be given with neutral voltage, and since it is first one, will give positive voltage. Since it is second one, will make a shift and will give a negative voltage, and 0 will maintain 0 neutral voltage, and the previously given negative voltage, that's why we will be giving the positive voltage for the upcoming one, right? So alternatives ones will be given with positive and negative voltages alternatively, right? So this is what AMI is, and whereas pseudo ternary is completely opposite. So in case of your pseudo ternary, so 0 will be given with alternative positive voltages, whereas 1 will be given with neutral voltage, right? So look at this 1 will be given with neutral voltage, whereas first 0 will be given with positive voltage, and then 2 consecutive ones will be given with neutral voltage. Since the previous 0 will be given with positive voltage, the next 0 will be given with negative voltage. So this is what pseudo ternary is. So in both these mechanisms, here since because of 0 will be maintained in neutral, and here 1 will be maintained in neutral, if you face consecutive ones, both baseline altering and DC component will occur. Whereas in this case, if you face consecutive zeros, this baseline altering and DC component will also occur, right? But for consecutive ones and consecutive zeros, in case of respective cases, it will handle without any issues. Whereas in case of consecutive ones in case of pseudo ternary and consecutive zeros in case of AMI will cause DC component and baseline altering problem, right? Fine. And let's go for the next one. For this, we need a presentation. Next one is multi-level schemes. Under this multi-level, right? Multi-level is nothing but, as I said in the session. So the ultimate aim of a scheme is line coding mechanism is we need to achieve as much number of data rate over a single signal element, right? So because if you take your car example, I have 5 seaters in my car. Let's take 6 seaters in a car. So I need to accommodate as much number of persons in the car so that we can achieve efficiency, right? So similar to that. So if I have a signal element, right? So if I have one signal element, I need to carry as much number of data elements in a single signal element so that I can able to achieve higher data rate, right? So in such cases, we need to accommodate as much number of data. So far we have seen multiple number of schemes that accommodates one data over one signal element. Whereas this multi-level schemes, here more number of data elements are accommodated on one signal element, right? So that is what this 2B1Q. Actually, it is of different format. It's actually MBNQ, right? So this is the general representation of this multi-level transmissions, and this M is nothing but number of data that is number of data bits that is going to be processed over signal elements, and this N is going to be how much number of signal elements it is going to process. Here in this case, one signal element is going to process two data elements, right? So that is what the representation of 2B1Q, right? So in this case, let's whatever the data that has been given, you can take this example also. Whatever the data that has been given, it has to be splitted into two data bits, right? 0, 0, 1, 1. Look at what are the data that needs to be transmitted as 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, and 0, 1. So in this case, it is going to be split into two bits, because data is going to transmit over one signal element. 2 bits are going to travel on one signal element. So data are split into 2 bits. Here they have given. You need to take this table, right? So in this case, purely depends on the previous level. The data the voltage what we are going to give is going to differ, right? So here it takes 4 possible voltages: +3, +1, 0, -1, -3. Actually, it is 5 voltage. So 0 is not a voltage. So you can take 4 voltages: +3, +1, -1, and -3. So in this case, the data what you want to transmit is 00. So 00. So we always give positive voltage first, right? It's an assumed start. So let's assume previous is negative. That's why it is positive. So 00 will give it with positive voltage, right? +1, right? And the next data is going to be 11. Currently positive voltage, right? Right now I'm in a positive voltage, so you want to check this column, right? Previous level is positive, so right now the data is going to be 11, that is double one. So double one minus 3, so data has to be given with minus 3 as the voltage, right? And the next data is going to be 0 1. Right now I am in negative voltage. Right now I am in negative voltage. Next data is going to be 0 1. So 0 1. So minus 3 has to be maintained. So I am maintaining the minus 3. Next data I am going to transmit as 1 0, and currently I am in negative voltage. Currently I am in negative voltage, and the next data I am going to transmit as 1 0. So you need to give positive 3, positive 1. So 1 to 1, positive 1 voltage will be given. And the next data is going to be 0 1, and right now I am in positive. So right now in positive, next data is going to be 0 1. So plus 3 has to be maintained. So plus 3 voltage has been given. So this is how this 2B1Q mechanism is done. Right? In this case, two data elements are traveling over one signal element. Right? This is what one signal element. Two data elements are traveling over one signal element. So this is how this 2B mechanism has to be. This table you want to remember, right, in case of 2B1Q, right? Fine. Let's take one more example for better understanding. Let's take double 1 0 0 1 0 1 0 1 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Okay, so for transmitting 10 data elements, I need 5 signal elements, because each single signal element will carry 2 bits of information, right? So first one double 1, so assume the start is positive. So for double 1, assume the previous level is negative. So if it is of double 1, I need to maintain plus 3 plus 1 0 minus 1 minus 3. Initially, since the previous level is assumed this level is negative, so double 1 has to be given with plus 3 voltage. Okay. Next one is 0 0. So 0 0. Right now I am in positive voltage. So 0 0 positive voltage. So plus 1 has to be given. Right. So 0 0 positive voltage. Previous level positive. Okay. Previous level positive. And 0 0 for 0 0 I need to give plus 1. So voltage has to be varied. And for 1 0, right now I am in positive voltage. Right now I am in positive voltage. For 1 0, minus 1 has to be given. Minus 1 has to be given. And for next one is another 1 0. Right now I am in negative. So right now I am in negative. For another 1 0, so plus 1 has to be given. And next one is another 1 0. Right now I am in positive. Right now in positive, another 1 0. So minus 1 has to be given. So this is how it needs to be generated, right? So this is what 2B1Q mechanism. So two data bits traveling over one signal element, right? So that is what the concept here is. Next one is 8B60, right? So this is as the name implies, right? So you can easily understand this mechanism, which is 8B60, right? 8 data bits traveling over 6 signal element, right? 8 data elements traveling over 6 signal element, right? So in this case, it is taking only 3 positive voltages, 3 voltages. One is positive, another one is negative, and neutral voltage. So in this, here look at data what that has been given has to be converted into 6 bits, right? So 8 bits, right? And it is going to be traveling over 6 signal elements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 signal elements, which is carrying 8 bits of data, right? So how there is a predefined table that exists, right? Because the author has developed a table, right, for 8 bits of data. It's a mapping table, right? Mapping for all possible cases of 8 bits of data with the respective code. Right, this is what the code is, right? What is the voltage that needs to be given, right? I'll open the table. So this is the table for 8B60 table, right? So you can find that table in your internet, right? 8B60 table. So it's a mapping table, right? For every possible data of 8 bits, right? They have given a equivalent code, right? So for example, if my data is going to be 1000 1100 1234 5678 and 100 110000 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 and let's take 10101010, right? Let's take this is the data I want to transmit, and each it should be divided into 8 bits of information, right? This is first 8, second 8 and third 8. You need to find the hexadecimal value of this. You need to find the hexadecimal value of this 8 bits of information, and you need to find the respective code for this from this mapping table, right? So if you convert this, so it takes time. So okay, what does this? Let's take this single bit of information. So it's nothing but 8427. Sorry, 8421. So double one means it is 8 plus 4 12, and 12 is nothing but A, B, 9, 10, 11, 12. So A, B and C, right? And this is 1008. So it is, this information is 8, and this 1100 is 8C, right? This information is nothing but 8C. You need to convert this into hexadecimal format. So 8C, you need to find for the value of 8C, right? So there it is. Or else you can go for higher values. Eight 427. Yes. So the data is 100 or 110. It is nothing but 8C. Okay, I'll check it out. So as I said, here this 8 bits of information, if you can able to find this data in your, you need to convert this into hexadecimal format, and you can able to find this inverted data. That is, you can able to find the respective weight code of this in the mapping table, and this for when you identify this this pattern of your data, then this is the voltage level you need to given, which is negative, 0 maintain voltage, and 0 negative voltage, another 0 voltage, 2 positive voltages, right? And if same data is observed again, right? Look at this 0 1 0 1 and 4 consecutive zeros, right? So in such case, let's take in this case, if two things are processed in the same pattern, right? So same pattern in the sense, what to say, you need to invert. For example, in this case, because every individual 8 bits of data, you have a separate mapping information available, right? When you identify, for example, the same data, you will repeat, right? Let's take this is the process, this is the data you are observing, and you are observing the same data again, right? You are observing the same data again. Then in such cases, you need to invert it, right? Invert in the sense, positive has to be given voltage, negative voltage, and negative has to be, the code what you are getting is same, but the voltage levels alone we need to invert, right? Positive has to be given with negative voltage and zero has to be, negative has to be given with positive voltage. So that is how it needs to be done. We'll discuss about this in detail in the next video, right? Thank you.